Good morning and welcome to the news on New Day. We come to you live from the John Hammond Street at Kanda here in Accra. I am Judith Brown. The headlines this morning. NDC flag bearer John Mahama warns future appointees against arrogance and opulence as he begins his Bono East region tour. Also, members of parliament urged to scrutinize 2024 budget to prevent reckless spending in the election year. We also bring you details as there's a growing need for toilet facilities in the Choco community in Accra as Ghana joins the world to mark Toilet Day. Well, in our first story, members of parliament have been urged to debate and scrutinize the 2024 budget with a view of preventing reckless election year spending that will plunge the country into further debt crisis. Now, experts and technocrats have been leading discussions at a post-budget workshop with MPs ahead of the debate in parliament later this week.
The post-budget workshop presents a platform for the policies and principles of the budget to be explained to MPs before the debate and consideration process in the House. Unlike previous years, the workshop this time took place in Parliament. During the session, the Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, outlined some of the considerations that informed decisions in the budget.
The 2024 budget was prepared recognizing the 2024 elections, the implementation of the IMF-supported post-COVID-19 program for economic growth, the debt restructuring program, security consideration, government's growth strategy, and leveraging climate finance to support the growth strategy. In that regard, Mr. Speaker, our discussions today are pivotal as they are not merely about the allocation of resources, but more so about the values that underpin our decision to provide opportunities, create jobs, and improve the well-being of our people.
The Minority Leader, Dr. Akese Latoforsen, underscored the need for MPs to subject the budget to thorough scrutiny to prevent reckless election year spending.
2024 is an election year, and it is often the case that no one needs to be reminded that fiscal discipline is often placed at the back burner in the quest for electoral fortunes. Mr. Speaker, overspending is often the order of the day in an election year. To satisfy unplanned campaign promises, projects are hurriedly commenced without dedicated funding sources. Organized labor is assured of improved condition of service without regard to its impact on wage bill, among others.
The Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, called on members to be mindful of the imperatives from the IMF as they dissect the 2024 budget.
The National Monetary Fund program, which was an option to help us restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, as well as ensure economic growth. We must admit that a strong policy and reform commitment under the program is bearing some fruit, and signs of economic stabilization are emerging. Economic growth in 2023 has proven more resilient than initially envisaged.
Debate on the budget begins later this week.
Now, let's stay on politics, and former President John Dramani Mahama has served notice to his incoming appointees that he will not countenance any display of arrogance and opulence if he wins the mandate of the people. He has issued a stern warning to would-be appointees to show empathy to the plight of Ghanaians who are willing to give them power. Kamala Kluche has the following report from the Bono East region, where he has begun his two-day tour.
In wrapping up his two-day engagement in the Bono region, I've had some frank addresses from party faithfuls, traditional authorities, and academia, activating efforts at couching a manifesto he considered to be people-driven. The NDC flag bearer intimates he's mindful of the challenges the country faces, seeking to be real in his next administration.
Nti ya ka se ba omo boarding school no se omodua ne die ni ade ye besa de ama headmaster for no no ma hwe so se ne be ya enkwada ne benya eduane pa edi nti sa ne oma no aye review of free SHS no enye se ye ba betwam free SHS enye aba eye ade aba forever yenti obi entimi ma embetwam.
The school will take care of the feeding to ensure that they eat quality food We are not going to cancel free SHS. It has come to stay.
Senior Beya, I dream pa omode to constitution na ya wofono ne enpadano omosa aka.
Town hall meetings flooded by many with concerns of an honest leadership.
Currently, Get Fund is not performing as it's supposed to. So funding of...
This time, the lies won't work. This time, the propaganda won't work. This time, the deception won't work. This time, the dishonesty won't work. The people elected you to serve them, not to lord it over them. And so one of the things we don't want to see in the next NDC government, we don't want to see arrogance. The people are suffering, and so you must be. We don't want to see people driving Rolls Royces and things when people cannot get food to eat. You must be modest in how you live. You must be truthful. You must tell the people the truth.
John Mahama early on visited some churches where he cautioned them.
Enye bibia eye shren ena ye sika kokko. Enye bosha kesia nipa beba beka ena kire se waye na adwen se obeye. Emprempi no eye tumi ena ope. Nipa ni nya tumi ni bia na kire se ni refi ni okan.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Techiman.
Well, away from politics, hundreds of residents of Cheriponi in the northeast region have demonstrated against government over what they describe as a total neglect of developmental needs of the area. Notable amongst the issues of concern is the 112-kilometer Yendi-Cheriponi road awarded under the erstwhile NDC administration that has been abandoned, hence affecting economic activities in the area.
The youth chanted war songs on the dusty road in Cheriponi to register their displeasure. The residents said the situation has exposed commuters and vehicles plying the already deplorable road to armed robbery attacks and is also a death trap.
Everybody knows me as Madam Gift. I'm a teacher, at the same time a trader. This bad nature of the road has really affected me. Personally, as a woman, it has affected me. Anytime I'm pregnant and I'm traveling on this road, in fact, I have to hold my belly till I get to my destination. When my baby is sick, how to transport my baby to get a better facility is always a problem.
When it comes to the road network in Cheriponi, currently the NPP government came into power. This is the 7th year. We are moving to the 8th year, even though a lot has been done. But we think the road network is very important, very paramount to the good people of Cheriponi, and we think we deserve better.
Presenting a petition to the Cheriponi District Chief Executive, leader of the youth, Sananu Zakaria, lamented that over 300 teachers who were posted to the district after tribal conflict in 2019 have fled the district primarily because of the poor road network.
Center Yendi. The increasing rate of armed robbery on the same Cheriponi Yendi road is a history in the Cheriponi town. Traveling between Cheriponi and Yendi after 6 p.m. has become the highest risk every person will want to take as a traveler.
Sananu Zakaria appealed to the president to redeem his promise to the chiefs and people of the area in 2020 to fix the road.
Now let's do some more stories. And deaths in any form is sad, but more painful is losing a patient due to empty oxygen cylinders. But what happens when the oxygen cylinders are empty while patients are in need of oxygen? 19-year-old pregnant woman Abdullahi Baria has reportedly died at the Tamale Central Hospital due to the lack of oxygen. In this report, my colleague Christopher Amwako looks at the importance of oxygen in healthcare delivery.
Oxygen is an essential medical therapy used to care for patients at all levels of the healthcare system, including in surgery, trauma, and heart failure. From the theater bed to the wards, each has felt the struggles of dying patients. But oftentimes, the cause of death is always what leaves memories, especially when it involves the non-availability of an essential consumable like oxygen. Meet the family of 19-year-old Abdullahi Baria, who allegedly lost her life at the Tamale Central Hospital as all cylinders at the facility were empty. They called me aside to tell me that they were losing my daughter in the course of the surgery because they didn't have oxygen in the entire hospital to support her. Baria's father still cannot believe that a hospital like Tamale Central will run out of oxygen. The medical director of the Tamale Central Hospital, Dr. Bashiru Abdul Majid, denied lack of oxygen as the cause of the death.
That is not actually the picture. It wasn't as a result of shortage of oxygen. In fact, as at the time the patient passed on, she was on oxygen. But the main issue of her death is not about the oxygen. It's about the condition in which the patient came.
But how important is oxygen to patients?
A very important commodity, because every patient going to theater may need oxygen in one way or the other, especially if they are going under general anesthesia, like the one who passed on. They will have to be on oxygen until they are able to breathe on their own, and we are okay with their ability to even absorb the external oxygen to fulfill their needs.
This oxygen plant located at the Tamale West Hospital here in the northern region is one of two oxygen plants in the region. Now, aside this one, there is also one at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. But for now, that of the Tamale Teaching Hospital is serving only the teaching hospital. This facility serves over 28 hospitals in the northern, Savannah, and northeast regions.
Healthcare gaps continue to widen, especially in the northern parts of the country, despite several interventions. Goal 3 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals seeks to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. More investment is needed to equip health facilities to at least have oxygen in their cylinders to run 24/7 services. Christopher Marco, TV3 News, Tamale.
Quite worrying developments there, but on to some more stories. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development is seeking to drastically reduce Ghana's unemployment rate by supporting the youth to explore opportunities in the aquaculture sector. Now, as part of a fish festival to commemorate the World Fisheries Day, the Deputy Sector Minister, Moses Anim, expressed the need to develop the interests of the youth in catfish farming.
The fisheries and aquaculture sector provide employment to nearly 10% of Ghana's population, with 90% of women being fish processors. Majority of Ghanaians also rely on fish as their preferred source of protein, requiring sustainable fishing practices by fishermen. The Fish Festival, scheduled as part of activities to commemorate World Fisheries Day, is intended to create viable platform for more youth to be trained in fish farming. Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Moses Anim, said the ministry remains committed to reduce unemployment through this intervention.
We will create the holding tank for you. We'll give you some fingerlings, viable ones, of course, and then intermittently provide some feed for a first cycle production. Then we are expecting that based on that support, you can recoup that support into your second cycle. Then you can be on your own.
The project, sponsored by the USAID Feed the Future program, engaged students from 4 senior high schools from the coastal regions in a quiz contest. St. Augustine's College in the Central Region beat Accra Academy, Ahantaman Girls Senior High School and Keta Senior High School to emerge winner. Chief of Party for the Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, Heather Douglas, wants youth participation in fisheries prioritized.
The Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity hosted this event in order to commemorate the 2023 World Fisheries Day. But more importantly, we want to raise the visibility of fisheries, especially among youth, the next generation of leaders in Ghana.
And let's do some more stories. And there's a growing need for toilet facilities in the Choco community, where open defecation is still a big challenge. As World marks Toilet Day, we look into the community and its challenges. With daybreak comes a strong urge to attend to nature's call. In the Choco community in Accra, however, this is a challenge. Not every household is furnished with a toilet facility, and so residents of homes with no toilets are left with very few options, either to visit a public toilet or engage in other unsanitary practices. And as is the norm, many prefer the latter.
In a big community like this, you can meet 1 or 2 toilet facilities and ask yourself how many people can afford the amount of money they're taking there. Just 70 pesos, sometimes 1 cedi. A lot of people cannot afford. They are not at all going to go to the shores and to defecate over there. You know what happens? When they defecate over there, the sea is polluted. Some leave them in our gutters, and when it rains and the flood cases come up, you see the toilet facilities on the streets.
It is as shocking as it sounds that residents still engage in open defecation after years of public education. We needed to have first-hand experience of the actual situation on the ground, and the sight was awful.
It's honestly very difficult standing at this particular spot right here by the seaside in Choco, because right behind me you can see a number of individuals engaging in open defecation, and this is common practice in this community. In effect, the spread of diseases like cholera.
Coupled with the huge piles of rubbish, human excreta is the most common thing to find along the beach.
In the dry season like this, there is rise in cholera when you visit the hospital right now.
Interestingly, although there are quite a number of public toilets that charge relatively low amounts, most residents are still unable to afford. Most of them can't afford. Some pay and others don't. In 2014, the government launched the Gamma project, which was meant to provide toilet facilities at subsidized prices along with other sanitation provisions. In the community, however, only few homes can boast of this facility. Even then, there are some challenges.
There are some mismanagements with it, so maybe the one cleaning it will be like, if you won't clean it, then you don't need to use it.
Other residents say they have still not received the toilets despite making payments.
This is not working. First, they were told to go to the various sub-metros, the municipal assemblies, so that they make payment. And from what they are saying, some of them have paid and there's no show.
Well, according to the Ghana Statistical Service's latest report, 3 in every 4 households in Ghana did not have exclusive use of an improved toilet facility in 2021. Clearly, more has to be done to eradicate open defecation in Choco and other communities. While the United Nations says with 7 years left, the world has to work on average 5 times faster to meet the sanitation target of SDG 6, which says save toilets and water for all by 2030 on time. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Choco, Accra. Well, that's how we wrap up the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. We'll be back with the rest of New Day. We're going on a short break.